I can't believe this. At least I didn't hire any Cougs. It could be worse. It can always be worse. All right. Welcome back to Right as Rain. It's very nice to be back to talk about our Seattle Reign Football Club as we get nearer and nearer to the regular season. Thank God. It sucks just kind of being in this like awkward preseason. We're not doing anything real yet kind of thing. For I don't know, it doesn't matter for me to say this because by the time that you are watching this, it will be Tuesday. We're going to talk about a few things in this week's episode. Obviously, the Reign had the Coachella Valley Invitational. They had two matches there. Talk a little bit about that just because the first match streaming was kind of funky. And then we got the second match, which was better. Veronica Latsko suffered an injury. We'll get to that. There's a new kit, the new secondary kit, which is growing on me swiftly, and that will not be good for my eventual bank account. Um, the secrecy part is that the club has a new anthem that will be out by the time that this episode is out. Um, and we get closer and closer to the regular season, so we have to take a look at the roster inevitably. I am Charles Hamaker. We've got Becca to my side here. Bella is down there. Um, did I point right? I did. Okay. I want to make sure. God bless these two for dealing with me. All right. So yeah, no, we'll get into it. It's sad. I keep looking at the Veronica injury and getting sad. So the two preseason matches, I think Bella saw most of what took place in the preseason, right? So I might have to go with you a little bit more because I know Becca and I were kind of looking for something for the first one and it was hard to find. I know BFC has since posted highlights, but it's, not the same. Um, yeah, Bella, what did you think about the two preseason matches? I mean, it's nice to see some of your newer faces and Lynn Biondolo and Maddie Darlene get on the score sheet, right? What did you take from those two matches as we're kind of wrapping up the preseason? They've still got a friendly to play against UW coming up, which is kind of cool. But yeah, what did you take away from that?
Yeah, I also couldn't watch much of the BFC game, unfortunately. I did manage to see a highlight of Lynn Biondolo's goal. And what I really liked about that was it looked kind of like there was a scramble in front of the goal. It hit quite a few players, and she was basically the one to hit it into the back of the net, which may seem somewhat insignificant. However, I think there were a lot of situations last year where on a corner kick or something, there was some sort of frenzy in front of the goal and it should have been scored, and there wasn't someone to put the final touch on it and actually get it in the back of the net. So even if Lynn Biondolo functions just like your poacher striker, who is there to just finish those kinds of opportunities, I think that's really massive and something that the Reign have been missing. I also think she scored in the preseason game before that that was behind closed doors against Spokane Zephyr FC. Um, so I think it's just really great to see her clicking so fast with the team and immediately scoring goals. Not that there was necessarily a question that Lynn Biondolo would score goals. It's Lynn Biondolo. However, it's really good to see. I also thought that getting a clean sheet was great. That's certainly something they struggled with last year. Um, with the Angel City match, they conceded at the very end. Like it wasn't quite stoppage time, but it was almost stoppage time. And at that point, half of the players on the field were like trialists and other players who may or probably won't make the roster. And there had been a lot of changes. So I think you can not necessarily ignore that they conceded that goal in the Angel City game, but not put too much stock into it just because there had been so many changes. And then Maddie Darlene was just absolutely fantastic. She went ahead and just sprinted at the center back, dispossessed her, took it all the way, and finished. Um, it is fantastic to see such clinical finishing from a 21-year-old, 20-year-old. I don't know how old she is. She was at the U20 World Cup, so she must be either 20 or 21. Um, and she's 20. Okay, they were gonna say 22 for a second. I was like, no. Um, and so it was great that she was so clinical on that chance. And I think just the speed from, seeing her and Emery play together, I think the team has been missing speed in the past. And Lynn Biondolo talked about it when we saw her on the first day of preseason, is that this team has really great midfielders who are very adept at sending brilliant through balls. And they just haven't always had the player to run in behind and stretch the back line and get on those balls. Lynn provides that, Maddie provides that. Emery provides a little bit of that, but she also provides great creativity on the wing and, just a lot of youthful energy. Like, feels very Energizer Bunny vibes. Like, she is not going to give up. She wants to make a difference. I think Norelia Mondesir was also a bright spot that we haven't necessarily seen the best of yet, but I think we're starting to see how she can connect with the other forwards and sort of make a difference as not somewhere between the attacking and the midfield lines. It's not totally clear where she's going to play. Um, some other interesting things. They tried out Phoebe McClernon as a six for part of the Angel City preseason game, um, which I'm not opposed to. It's certainly a position where they are lacking. Uh, they I'd be surprised if they ended up playing with a lone six at any point this season because they just don't have any players who are quite capable of that yet. And, we saw back when Emily Sonnet was still with the club, Olivia Vanderyacht would play really well with her as sort of a double six. And I think if you can find someone to pair with Olivia Vanderyacht, that's a really great option. And it was great to see Olivia play so many minutes. She looked really healthy. She looked in form, which is just great to see after missing her for so much of last season. But yeah, definitely the the Phoebe McClernon at the six it'll be interesting because when we saw Laura Harvey play Emily Sonnet as a six in a preseason match, we then saw her pretty quickly do that in the regular season. Will be curious to see if this was really just testing Phoebe in that position, or if this is Phoebe, this is your first chance to do it, and you will be doing more of it. Because now that they have more defensive depth this year, they do have the option to move her, and she does have really great distribution skills. And is a very strong defender. So I think, certainly, ooh, my headphone fell out. Um, anytime we see players like moved from one position to the defensive midfielder position, it is typically a center back who is being adjusted and having their position changed. Julia Ertz, Emily Sonnet was the same. So, and clearly Laura had great success with moving Emily Sonnet there. I still to this day think it's her best position. I think it was one of her best seasons. So, a lot of interesting things, and I think just a lot of exciting things from those preseason matches.
I'll never forget how Laura shared with us that Emily asked her to make her the best six in the world. Like that'll always be something that will be really cool to me. Yeah, Becca, were you able to catch any of any of that, or was it just kind of tough with how they tried to stream these pre? Because at least for me, trying to, I swear, I told Becca I was like, I'm recording the Bay FC game per my Xfinity, and then later in the day, seeing that they were putting the Seawolves games on, which yay! But also, wanted to watch that one. So did you catch any of that or no?
Unfortunately, no, I wasn't able to watch either, but it's nice to know that there were some positive outcomes of the matches. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't able to watch, unfortunately.
No, that's tough. And thankfully, again, we'll get closer to the regular season and we'll not have to worry about stuff like the stream that's being labeled as a rain stream, not really being a rain stream. Um, yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from what I saw with those two was purely Maddie Darlene. Like, like I fully expected Lynn Williams to be a contributor, so that's not shocking to me. As Bella mentioned, it's nice to see that click, that early sort of chemistry. Obviously, that will continue to be built through the course of the season. Um, but Maddie Darlene was always fascinating to me with they brought in Emily Mason, and I think it was her and Emily Mason at the same time, right? And Maddie Darlene just kind of stuck out more to me. Um, so I don't know. I think she'll be really fun. Like I was telling Becca, I think she'll be someone that really makes an impact on the club this year. Um,
And Scott Parkinson agrees with you. He
yeah,
told us on when we saw him on Friday, it was a very hush, like, you better watch out for Maddie Darlene.
well, that was something that's right. You were talking about the speed. I think that's something he mentioned as well. Was like this is a club that should have a lot of speed. And I was like, interesting. Very, very cool. Um, yeah, good old Scott. What a lad he is in his thick accent. Um,
Hey, Charles.
hey Jen.
Hey, where are you going to watch all the away games for Seattle Reign FC this year?
Away games. Well, since Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See y'all here.